Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken and welcome back to another video. Today we are on the PTS where we are going to check out Kasumi, Death's Howl. She is the newest damage champion coming to Paladins, and she has one of the most interesting kits we've ever seen in this game, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. But before we talk about her abilities, let's go ahead and check out her skins. So up first we have, of course, default Kasumi, which honestly I expected to glow more given how she looked in the trailer. I expected her to just be bright blue all over the place, but she's got kind of different skin tones going on. Like her arms and her legs look different to her chest, and then her face is just completely dark. So I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, that can be contrasted by the Evil Spirit skin, where she has no glowy eyes and much more skin-looking skin. Looks very dead, though. Very, very dead. And yeah, it's just kind of a cool-toned version of her regular skin. And you can see on her face, her eyes aren't glowing as much. You can actually see, like, her pupils and whatnot. And she's got, like, dark makeup dripping from her eyes like she's been crying or something, which is really, really cool, really haunting. Don't look at it too long. And then, Spirited. This is the skin you get from the Season Pass. It's her before she died. So, looking very much alive. Lost the hat. Has a weird Ice Age baby-looking face. And yeah, it's not the best Season Pass skin we've seen for a new champion. And then we get to the gold skin, which, looking at the splash art, I wasn't sure how good this was going to look, but in-game, it actually looks pretty alright. It looks very, very dark. This is more of a black skin than it is a gold skin. It is, I think, the single darkest gold skin in Paladins, which kind of fits her aesthetic because she is a spooky, scary ghost. Well, yeah, this is really dark. And the gold doesn't really look like gold. It looks more like yellow. And you'll notice as I turn her, the gold kind of turns to brown. It has like some weird shading on it. Not the greatest gold skin of the new champions we've had released. I think that Caspian's is definitely better. But it is still, honestly, a pretty solid looking gold skin. I do like how her eyes are glowing bright red. The one thing I don't like, though, is that the weapon doesn't match the skin. So yeah, like, all gold weapons match really well. For some reason, they're able to match the gold shade and tone and shininess across all gold weapons. But then, for some reason, they can't match the skins. I have no idea why. But yeah, this golden weapon completely does not match the gold on her skin. And the gold on her skin, honestly, doesn't even look that gold, so it's a bit strange. Some of the chains do look gold. But even still, it's a different gold to the weapon, so I don't really understand how they managed to do that. They managed to do it absolutely perfectly with Golden Victor. This looks perfect, but yet, for so many other gold skins, again, like Kasumi's, they somehow managed to mess it up, so I don't know what's going on there. So now let's go ahead and get into Kasumi's abilities. Kasumi is one of the most interesting champions we've had up to this point. One of the most unique champions. She has a lot of unique gimmicks, and none of her abilities are really too similar to other champions, other than maybe one of her movement abilities. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started with her primary fire. Now, this is the first primary fire in Paladins that is a marking mechanic. It's not a hit scan, it's not a projectile, it's more like a Genos Astra mark or a Corvus mark or Lilith Hex. It applies in pretty much the same way. So take a look at this Victor as I move my reticle to him, on the right. Whoa, look at that. He's got a little indicator on him. And I don't even have to be aiming anywhere close to him to still get that indicator on. There's a wide margin of error between the left and right of Victor, where I will still be able to hit him. So it's basically just like an astral mark. The range isn't quite as powerful as like Sarah's Ren's Soul. It's still not quite as auto-aiming as that, but it is still definitely auto-aim. Or at the very least, it's the most forgiving aim I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, this is a mark. And as you'll see, whenever I hit someone, I apply a mark to them. Now these marks make me do more damage per shot, up to 450 damage per shot, and then the Victor's dead. But also what these marks do is they decrease the damage that the enemies deal by 2% per mark, so up to 10% damage reduction. And this is basically the same as Ray's Midnight Stroll, where it's not Kasumi gets damage reduction, no, it's whoever the enemy shoots, they take 10% less damage from the enemy's weapon shots. So yeah, it's basically a debuff on her primary fire, which makes up for the fact that the damage is really low. This has a fire rate of, I believe, 0.7, 0.8 seconds, something like that, and the first shot does a whole 200 damage. So yeah, really, really long time to kill for a damage champion. There is a way to ramp this up with a talent, as we'll get to later, but this is basically her default damage per second. Another unique mechanic that might help you get your stacks up more quickly on a target is that you can actually transfer stacks between enemies. So, let me get some stacks up on this Fernando. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I will attack the Ying, and you can see, Fernando now has 3 stacks, Ying now has 2 stacks. So basically, if you have stacks on a target, and then you switch targets, you take 2 stacks away from the person you were first targeting, and then you apply stacks at a rate of 2 every shot instead of 1 every shot on the person you are now attacking. So it's basically -2 from one person, +2 on another one, instead of just +1 for every attack. So yeah, there we go. Now it's on Fernando, now it's on Ying, now it's on Fernando, now it's on Ying. We can get 5 up on him, and then 1, 2, 3, max attack damage, max attack speed. So, pretty cool tech with this primary fire. But yeah, since her primary fire is a mark, there's a lot of interesting questions, like, does it get countered by Xin? Does it go through Atlas Wall? It actually does target shields, so like if Fernando was holding a shield up, it would target the shield instead of him. And if I was behind the Fernando, it would be likely to target Fernando instead of the shield. But yeah, it seems like it works around shields just like a normal primary fire would. But yeah, we did a bunch of myth busting with Xin and Atlas on stream, so I will just go ahead and play that for you now. Okay, now we gotta test if my Hex, if this counters. So, if he puts this counter up, will it deflect it? Oh, interesting, so it did damage to him, but it also hurt me. It healed him, though. I think he has a heal card, right? Yeah, he heals for 500 after counter, so that's why he healed the damage back up, but it did damage to both of us. That's really strange. Trigger counter from behind? Okay, it won't trigger counter if I shoot from behind, so yeah, it looks like you still have to be pointing it at me. Can I cleanse marks with Billow? Good question. Alright, let me do that. Yes. Yes, you can. So, Ethereal cleanses marks. Yeah, there's like a range deploy mechanic to it. And yeah, if he walks on it, then yeah. Oh, I can't target. Yeah, I can't target. Okay, so Atlas Wall completely denies her damage, just like any other character. Next, let's talk about Savage Tear, which is her right-click. So, this is an ability that does 400 damage. You basically strike across your doll, and you deal damage to them. And this scales with the amount of marks you have on them. So yeah, we can get up to 5 stacks here, and it does 900 damage at max. So it's kind of a burst tool. You can sort of use it to finish an enemy off as well. But the real kicker is, when you use it at 5 stacks, if the enemy lives after you use the slash on them, they are disarmed for 1 second. This is a new crowd control effect in Paladins. That's actually just a really old crowd control effect from Paladins. This hasn't been in the game in years, but way back in the day this used to be a crowd control effect that Torvald, I believe, actually had on his Runic Blast, where it would silence and it would disarm the enemies. And disarming just makes it so they can't use their primary fire. So it's the inverse of a silence. A silence disables all abilities except the primary fire. Well, a disarm disables the primary fire but lets you use all your other abilities. So it's, yeah. It's completely unique to Kasumi now. She is the only champion who can disarm, which is pretty cool. However, on the PTS, it is currently bugged to where you don't even need to have a single stack to disarm, which is pretty powerful, but I believe they know about this, and I believe it will be fixed by the time she makes it into live servers. Counter the disarm? We can try that, yeah. That just went right through. Strange. I'm gonna wait for the reload, and then I'm gonna do it. Oh! Yeah, it interrupted an attack. Maybe I just mistimed it last time in between attacks. But yeah, that actually disarmed. Without stacks. Fascinating. Next, let's talk about her first and simplest movement ability, which is Body and Soul. So this lets you project yourself outward, but your body remains behind. So she kind of sends out a ghost that she can control, and she'll basically teleport to the ghost when the duration is over. So check this out. I can move the ghost, and I teleport to the ghost when the duration is over. However, if I don't like where I'm going, well, I can recast the ability, and I go back to my body. Now, Kasumi is vulnerable to damage. This body is vulnerable to damage right here, but the actual character you can control is ethereal, so they can pass through everything, they don't take damage, and yeah, they basically are just kind of like a Xin Billow. The body does have 40% damage reduction though, so it's not like it'll be super easy to kill, but you do got to be careful about where you use this. You kind of want to play around cover with Kasumi, and you can kind of peek corners like that. And you can use this as a tool to peek, and then go back to where you were if you don't like what you see, or you can use it to kind of peek around a corner, advance on a target while you're ethereal, and then just get right up in their face and start stabbing your yokai doll to kill them. So it's a really interesting kind of two-part movement ability that is, yeah, pretty cool. Ooh, you'll try rewinding the body during shadow. Yeah, I would assume the shadow is crouch control immune, but here you go. Whoa, yeah, that works. Wait, no, that works. Oh, uh-oh, 15 seconds left. 10, 9, 8, what if I go off the map?
6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Well, in the last 15 seconds, we learned something very interesting. If she goes ethereal and falls off the map, she just teleports back. That would have killed any normal champion jumping off that like I did. And now, let's get to her most complicated ability, the Spirit Lure. So this is a trap, and it is very, very fascinating, very, very cool. So, we can put down 3 different Spirit Lures. 1, 2, 3. And these are basically replicas of the yokai doll. Now these will last indefinitely until an enemy walks near them. And once an enemy walks near them, it will trigger. And once it's triggered, like that, Kasumi can teleport. And when she teleports, she does a very tiny amount of damage, like 50 damage. She fears them for 1.5 seconds, and she applies 3 stacks, allowing her to kind of ramp up her damage a little bit more quickly. So basically, as an enemy, you do not want to get hit by the trap. We can put this down again, teleport, and only once she teleports does the trap actually do the damage and the fear and apply the stacks. So it's actually completely harmless until she teleports, but most likely she's going to teleport. She actually can't teleport to the Spirit Lures unless they get triggered, though, so an enemy has to trigger them in order for this to be a movement ability, but it can potentially be a very powerful movement ability because, I mean, think about it, you can travel across the map. Let's let this Victor die. I'm going to put a Spirit Lure right here, and then let's go all the way over here, and once that Spirit Lure triggers, you're going to see just how far we can teleport. Uh-oh. I think I bugged the bug. Wait, no, he's walking. Wait, no, he's walking. He's walking. He's walking. And there we go. Literally across the map. We are in his face. It didn't fear him. Honestly, probably just the game being buggy. Because, yeah, these bots are weird. And I don't think the Spirit Lure is, like, super reliable in the fear. I've noticed sometimes I can put it next to somebody and it just doesn't work. Especially in the shooting range here. It might honestly just be shooting range glitches, if we're perfectly honest. But, of course, there is one major problem with the Spirit Lures. I can see them. Look, they're right over there. Clearly, well, yeah, the enemies would see that, and they just wouldn't walk near it, right? Well, no. You see, to the enemies, these are actually invisible until it's too late and they get too close. Or at least that's how it's supposed to work. It doesn't actually work like that currently on the PTS, but it is a known issue, and I think that will also be fixed, either in a hotfix to the PTS or by the time it reaches live servers. Either way, by the time you get your hands on her, for most of you, these traps should be invisible as an enemy. And you can actually buy Illuminate to counter the traps. You can actually buy Illuminate to see the traps from a further distance and realize you probably shouldn't step there. But you can't actually destroy these traps, so Bulldozer doesn't affect it. They aren't affected by weapon shots. So don't think about trying to shoot it. Which, like 7 bombs, might get changed at some point. I have no idea. Currently, since they don't go invisible on the PTS, it's kind of hard to test them in a real game and see just how powerful they are, so I can't really make any balance statements on these as of yet. Obviously, having a fear is very powerful, especially, this is the first fear that is a non-ultimate ability, so you can spam this. I can just pop this down here, teleport, she's feared, and I also feared the Fernando there, which is pretty awesome. I also should mention, I am running a build that has 25% increased area of effect of the explosion, so yeah, do keep that in mind. But yeah, what happens if it gets triggered and you just don't teleport? Well, it'll just expire. Poof, there it goes. Didn't fear him, didn't do anything, so there's a limited opportunity for them to be teleported to. It's not like a Vivian drone where if someone gets in range, the indicator of the Vivian drone changes, it kind of lets you know that someone's there, but it doesn't, like, you know, explode or anything. Not unless you're running Booby Trap. So, yeah, they do expire. Also, while I'm using this ability, this is the emote. This is not a limited emote, this is not a paid-for emote, this is not a Season Pass emote. This is the default emote. This is a roaming, looping emote that is just her glitching around, sulking around, looking spooky and ghost-like, and I absolutely love it. This is so, so cool. I think he has it. Alright. Yeah! He actually just countered it. I didn't shoot it or anything. I wonder how fast I can do the Fury. So... like, assuming we're in a fight. I am bad at parkour. Assuming we're in a fight. That's pretty slow, and it didn't even fear him. That's not even fearing. What? Hold on, can you go down here? Just on a level playing field. Alright, throw that down. Okay, now you got feared. The trap didn't go away though, but it did give me the longer cooldown. I think this this ability is going to have a real problem with slopes then, because this was not working at all. But yeah, I'm spamming the button. This is as fast as you can do it in a regular duel. And yeah, it does do a tiny bit of damage actually. It looks like it does like 50 damage or something. It's really not a lot. But yeah, now let's talk about her ultimate. So, Bitter Betrayal is basically a very powerful mark that she can put on an enemy. Basically, she marks them as a betrayer, and after about a second of delay, they explode into projectiles, which inflict 5 stacks of curse and do damage over time to all enemies hit. So it does damage over time to them, and also there's just a circle of projectiles that are sprayed out, and anyone hit by it, well, they get the same treatment. So let's just use it on Ying here. You can see exactly what I mean. Yep, there it is. So you saw the projectiles explode out. They actually didn't hit Fernando or Victor for some reason. I have no idea why. The circle's a bit finicky, but yeah, it did a lot of damage to her. Let's use it again. Wha-bam! Yeah, I have no idea why those aren't hitting, but you can see that actually did most of her health and damage. And because she has 5 stacks, well, we do maximum damage to her. I'm going to use it on a Fernando this time, see if I can get it to hit. Also, you can attack while it's doing that, so you can still be stabbing, and there we go, he's dead. So it's very powerful on a single target. Like, you could just use it on a tank, and it'd be good for tank busting. But you can also just pop it in the middle of a team fight, and potentially get multiple people, which is pretty cool. But I have seriously no idea why I think this isn't hitting. It just, like, doesn't shoot out a projectile this way. It, like, sends one this way, and it sends one this way, but it doesn't directly hit the Fernando. It's very silly. But yeah, you can see how easy it is to dodge. It's not an explosion. It's just, it shoots out a bunch of projectiles. And none of them go vertically, so something as simple as, like, a Mave Pounce could just go up that way and completely dodge it.
Killing spree.
But yeah, I mean, even if it's just used on a single target, it does still allow for a decently quick time to kill. After it explodes, of course, you just have that 1 second wind up. So this time, I guess just counter right when the burst is going to happen instead of countering initially. So I use the ult and then you counter. Wow! That's fascinating! So it still gave him 5 stacks, you saw, but the entire damage portion of the ult and the explosion got countered. Wow. That is wild. So Zin's sword is so powerful that he can use the sword to deflect a hex that's applied to his body directly. Bro. But yeah, now let's talk talents. So her first talent is Empowered Curse, and this one seems to be very good. It increases your attack speed and movement speed by 5% per stack of curse currently on enemies. And as I know of, there is no cap. So yeah, this is overall pretty good for the majority of a fight. As you can see against this Fernando, we're going to start to ramp up stacks. And our attack speed gets faster, and our movement speed gets faster. So it's a significant boost to our DPS once the stacks start ramping up. Boof, 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 boof.
Double kill.
Yeah. But of course, once the stacks expire, you're back down to attacking slower and moving slower, so you're going to have constantly fluctuating attack and movement speed. But yeah, when I said there's no cap, I mean there's no cap. Check this out. 5 stacks on all of them.
Double kill.
Look at that attack speed. That was ludicrous for a second there. That was ludicrous for a second there. So yeah, you can really ramp it up. This talent basically makes her ultimate, like, really good. But that's only if you can hit, like, the entire team with it. So even though there's potentially no limit to the amount of attack speed and the amount of movement speed you can get, it's very rare that you'll ever see it reach that level of attack speed in a real game. Our next talent is Spirit Bombs. Now you can think of this as basically improvised but for Kasumi. So Spirit Lures become timed mines and can no longer be reactivated, exploding a small duration after being triggered to deal damage, fear, and apply curse stacks. Your trap placement now has increased cooldown. So you can't teleport to it, but they have a much more reliable explosion, and you can actually apply them at a range. Now, this does seem to be bugged on the PTS, and I believe they know about this bug too. Basically, instead of being detonated after being triggered, they just detonate after being deployed. So you can put that there, and it just explodes, and there was no enemy nearby. But, yeah, you can see we can deploy them at a much longer range now, so I can do that. And it actually just went over near that wall. It's a bit finicky, actually, because I can put it there, and it kind of puts a little bit behind my reticle. But yeah, it just exploded on him and it feared. So you can kind of use this talent as a ranged deploy of your fear, and you can use it a bit more aggressively instead of defensively. But yeah, actually trying to get it to trigger reliably and placing it where you want to requires a bit of skill because it's very finicky. But yeah, I didn't know that this talent let you apply them at range until I just accidentally discovered it. It doesn't say that in the description, but that does make this talent significantly better than I was originally anticipating. Assuming it works. Sometimes on these bots it doesn't really work that well, but yeah, I mean, a ranged deploy of a fear, it does have quite a long detonate time though. Like, you know, you put it down and then it detonates, and it didn't even hit the victor there. Yeah, they're very, very finicky. Our final talent is the one I've been showcasing, Unfinished Business, just because it's her most vanilla talent. Extend the duration of your body and soul by 1 second. After the ability ends, heal for 70% of the damage your body took while traveling, unaffected by Cauterize. So we can grab this, and we can grab just whatever build. This one has extra healing in it. And yeah, it just lasts for 1 second extra now. And if we head on over here to the Cassie's, you'll see exactly what I mean about the healing. So yeah, we can just put her body here, take a bunch of damage. It's actually healing because of the card, but then we just got a big burst of healing there because all of it got healed back up. So yeah, it basically makes you more resilient to not dying when using your movement ability. However, it does not save you from death. So hit me 3 times, 3, use the ability, and I still die. So it doesn't make you immortal, it just makes it so that if you were close to death, you don't die. Which can be pretty good. But yeah, it's probably not her best talent. But yeah, that's about it for Kasumi, which is a very interesting champion who cannot play target practice. What do you think about Kasumi? Let me know in the comment section down below. For me, she's definitely a very interesting damage champion. A bit weird, a bit strange, certainly one of the most unique champions we have in the game at the moment. Very unique primary fire, very unique skill set. And I'm excited to learn more about her and practice her, and I'm excited to see her in a more finished state too, especially with these spirit lures actually going invisible like they should. That'll be really, really fun. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. So if you guys have enjoyed, of course, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Also, make sure to check out Twitch. I'll be streaming the PTS either today or tomorrow, depending on when you see this video, depending on what I decide. Either way, we'll be streaming the PTS on Twitch, so make sure you follow so you don't miss it, regardless of when I stream. And also join the Discord server if you want to talk to more people about Kasumi, or if you want to just find people to party up. We have a wonderful active community of thousands of people, so yeah, you'll want to go hang out there. And lastly, if you want to support me and you want to maybe consider buying crystals for the new skins or buying the season pass for Kasumi's limited skin, then make sure, of course, to do it at my Nexus, nexus.gg/AndrewChicken. You can buy crystals, the season pass, and more, and support me in the process. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time. Peace out.